Hello, welcome to my channel. This is Hugo Correa, and we're going to go through the steps that we had to take to be able to protect our basements, right? Either you have it as a living space or you have it just for storage. You want to make sure that the area is always nice and dry. And obviously, the steps that we need to take are the ones that not only are going to prevent a lot of water from coming in, a lot of water intrusion, but also the problem of mold proliferation and other issues that obviously are going to be caused by a lot of water. As you know, through many months of the year, we have, torrential rains, and we have situations where we actually don't have power, and we end up having a lot of flooded areas with a lot of mold and issues that are caused by, just the presence of a lot of water. And that's one of the things that we need to talk about because we're going to lose thousands of dollars if we are not able to prevent all these things, or at least protect ourselves as good as possible, right? It doesn't hurt to protect ourselves as good as possible in these situations. So we're going to start with what happened over here. We had a pump. This pump had a few failures over here. Obviously, there was no power, and you need to make sure that water drains properly inside a pump reservoir, right? Like a water reservoir, and that was the issue over here. We had a funnel-like area without any holes to filtrate water under the slab, and those are things that sometimes cause us a lot of issues, and we're going to go over them in a second. But overall, what we're going to do is we're going to work with two mechanisms. We're going to use the existing pump, the sump pump that is there, normal basement sump pump, submergible one, that is going to help us, and this one called the base pump. I'm going to leave in the description the way you can get this thing. It was my first time using this base pump, but I love it because now I know that without power and just with a water source, we can actually make the issue less problematic because we're going to use the pressure of the water to help us pump that water out. So let's start with some of the material that we're going to use. The aggregate that we're going to use in this case is 57 gravel. This gravel is the one I just went to this place that where they mix concrete, and I picked up several amounts of number 57 gravel. This is kind of the size that you want to get. The other one will be a little too big, but this one will just give you enough filtration to be able to put around your reservoir, your pail, your bucket, your recipient. Obviously, there are different kinds, sizes, but you want to make sure that you go with this size to, just to work with. So we're going to use obviously a jackhammer around here because they put a lot of concrete around. And as we dig out, we're going to see all the issues that we had by just removing this. But overall, what happened is that water was being collected over there. We have to clean all the areas because you want to make sure that when you're working in these things, you don't want to have a lot of things clogging your pump, and that's one of the issues that you can have as well when you have. So you want to protect that area. So let's make sure that the water that comes from the side of the house, all those the dirt that is around the walls, it has a place to drain. All right, we want to make sure that we have gravel around our bucket that is going to be on the bottom, and all the system that is going to help us to pump the water out. We're going to go step by step. So the idea is that this thing will collect water as you dig out. You want to make sure that you are able to bring all the water inside the container, not around. In this place, as we dig down, we actually find that it was just sealed, and no water was coming in. But as we were digging down, we start finding out that water was coming from underneath. So there were some I would say points that were giving us clues about what was going on. There's a lot of water that was being trapped underneath all the soil, and we found out that obviously when they sealed all this around, they didn't have no perforation. The water was just staying over there, and obviously coming down on the other side where we have a lower level in this basement. So first thing obviously that we're going to do is we're going to remove this pipe that they put over here, and we're going to start digging a little bit more down. The reason of digging down a little bit more is because we want to make sure that we are in the lowest part possible of the house. And that means that we need to dig down below the other little section, the storage section of this basement. And that means that from like the 24 inches that were there, we need to go down to 4 feet. And that is the purpose of this. As we were digging down, we found some areas that were really dry, and some areas had a lot of water. So we had to make sure that we went all the way down. It was a little issue with there, but overall, what we want to make sure that the water that gets trapped and it travels under the house, because you can have a lot of filtration, doesn't stay under the footers or under those areas. We want to make sure that we are able to take that water out. We want to make sure that we are deep enough. In this case, as you can see, we are about 4 feet deep, and we want to use, because the regular containers for pumps are so small, we're going to use these heavy duty construction buckets or trash cans. And they're, the gauge is really good. And what we're going to do is we're going to create some perforations. Now, as we were cleaning all these things, you can see the mice that were kind of moving around. We have to take them out so the snakes that live under the basement can actually have a meal. I'm just kidding, obviously, but we actually saved the little mice because we don't want to create some sort of a brutal situation as we are digging in our on our project. So all right, so we went ahead and did that part by using a half-inch and a 3/8 drill bit. We went ahead and perforated the first bucket with a lot of holes to make sure that it drains in. But if you notice, the last 10 inches of this bucket is completely clean. We didn't do that because we want to make sure that water can actually fall inside the container, so the pump can actually pump it out. So that means that when we put the bucket inside the cavity, we want to make sure that we put some of that dirt around. We want to compact that dirt, and then from that point on, we're going to start putting gravel. So the gravel actually will help us filtrate the water. A lot of people will say, what if you put a mesh around? What if you put some sort of filtration system around? And I noticed that you do more damage when you put that cloth around it, like wheat cloth or other type of mesh. So you want to make sure that you level the container really well, your bucket really well, small or large. You want to make sure that it's nice and level, because your pump is going to sit on the bottom. Then you want to continue by putting that layer of dirt, and then the layer of gravel around it. So now that we have that, we actually use the cover, the lid of that trash can, to be able to just kind of put stuff around, so we don't have that much falling inside. If you have small particles like the one that you see, don't get frustrated, because the pump will do that. I mean, the pump is designed to move particles as well, not large things, but particles, right? So again, we had to extend by being like 4 feet deep. We had to extend it, and what we did is that we actually got two of those construction buckets or trash cans, and we used some exterior screws to actually screw both together, right? So we put one inside the other, and we went ahead and just kind of screw it around to make sure that no dirt was or gravel was falling inside. So that's what we used there. You can see it. And now we are ready to continue with the last part around it, which is just adding a little bit of a concrete mix around, but you want to make sure that you leave that funnel-like area so water can actually pitch inside. You can drain inside there. You want to make sure that you have perforation so water will go inside. This video is being edited about 2 months after that. We had a lot of rain, and it's working perfectly. So I'm really happy about it, because as we were working, you can probably see that water was kind of coming in constantly. So it was an interesting thing to see how the water was looking for the lowest part on the area to be able to be drained. So it's really good. So now we're gonna go ahead and work with our systems. What we did is that we extended that 2-inch pipe that you see there attached to the pump. We just extended like 2 more feet to be able to go down to the new depth, and start working with our nice base pump, which is called base pump, which is like a water force sump pump system that will help you by using by using this system. You can actually avoid a lot of issues. So we want to go ahead and use the first one. Obviously, the first pump will work with water power, and will pull the water out. And then the second one has to go right next to it. The drain line of that one has to go nicely, so you don't want to have a lot of areas where you can create some sort of a weird I will call it inclination towards, like a negative inclination. And then you go ahead and use this nice system, this nice pump, right? So the pump itself will come with a lot of fittings, but in this case we want to make sure that we actually attach it to the existing half-inch PEX line that is on the side in a nice block. So we put this small block on the side, so we can put all the clamps that the clamps that come with it, so it's nice and straight and level. And so you want to go over the instructions and make sure that it is located really well, because there are two mechanisms inside there that are crucial to be nice and straight. So nothing is obstructing the way you calibrate your system, your base pump system, your water operated water force system, right? So that's why if you notice, I'm actually leaving on the right hand side, we're leaving that area kind of exposed so we can actually install the other fittings or little features that you're going to see in a moment. So on one side we are putting PEX, so the water is coming from a half-inch line and it's coming out with a 1-inch PVC line. So it comes from the bottom, is directly on top of it, so it's perpendicular to the container that is holding the water, and it's going right next to it, so it's gonna drain to the outside of the house. You want to make sure that you can actually create the mechanism so it drains properly, right? You're going to see the different layout, the diagrams that can help you out. So you want to go ahead, clean all your fittings really well. You have the check valve on the bottom that will help you to avoid water just coming back down, and you have the on the left hand side you have the fitting that is going to help you to drain the water that's coming in. So water pressure is going to come in and it's going to push the water from the bottom up, by this type of force, a physical force, and then it's going to drain it out. So it will help you, don't worry, because you're not going to lose a lot of the water that comes here from regular fresh water. So right next to the pump and right above where the pump will turn on, that means like around 11 inches from this type of pump, regular sump pump, you're going to put your sucking filter, right? So this filter is going to be on the bottom, and that one is going to, what it's going to do is just going to be, it has a little filtration kind of screen there. So what it's going to do is that once it notices that the system is going to have a little air bladder that's going to go up, and once this thing is activated, the water will be sucked in. So again, you want to make sure that you measure right on top of that pump there. Make sure that no water will go there. I mean, if it's higher than that level, then the system will activate itself. That's pretty much what I want to say. If it's higher than the pump, you know that something went wrong with the pump. Otherwise, the system will just not work. Will stay there as a backup safety feature. You're not going to waste water or something like that. It's just going to work as an emergency feature, as a backup for your situation. So you want to go ahead and install this over here. Now, the only thing that I did differently was that on the bottom, if you notice, we have a coupling. And this coupling is if you need to service your pump, or if you want to service the filter because something fell inside, who knows, another rodent fell inside or something like that. So you want to make sure that you lose it out, and that for that reason I'm using this union. So I'm using a union to attach it together, so you want to make sure that you do that stuff. Now, the next step that you want to take is to have that air bladder over there that actually controls the on and off switch of your water valve base pump. And this is going to be activated if it goes up, and it works like a garbage disposer that has those air buttons over there for safety. The same thing. So air is going to travel through here. This is what by pressure you have a good amount of a hose there that's going to be connected to the upper part of your valve, or the black part of the valve is going to be, it has a little inlet there. Just by pressure, by pushing with your fingers, it's going to go inside there and you're good to go. You don't have to do nothing else. If you want to trim a little bit, it's up to you, but you don't need to do the stuff, right? So now that we have that taken care of, we're going to work with the next thing, and that is the water alarm. Again, and this one is going to be right there where you have right above your air bladder. So that black thing that you see there is going to be right above it. So this is going to let you know that water is above the line that it's supposed to be, and it's going to emit a really loud sound, like some sort of like a water, like a house alert alarm. So it's really loud, so you can actually hear it from far away, because to get to this part of the house, you need to open a couple of doors. So it needs to be loud enough for you to recognize. It works with a 9-volt battery, and it has, the sensor has actually a little float that by installing it with the little clamp that is there correctly, once the water lifted up, so that it has to be nice and stable on the bottom. And once the water goes up, it turns it on, and you're good to go. So that's what happens with it. Now, notice that we have a 2-inch pipe and a 1-inch pipe. Normally, the clamps that come with the pump are 1.5. So you want to get 2-inch round clamps. If you notice, we have now the sensor on one side, the alarm switch, and the bladder right underneath it. So that will help us to activate. It's nice and secure. I put this tape over there, and it comes with a little sticky material in the back, but I want to make sure that it doesn't fall in the future or something like that. And for now, we just have the water turned off, but it's supposed to be always on, right? Now, it's important obviously to test the water and all that stuff, but the cool thing about it is that you have a little mechanism to twist, so you can actually control the amount of time that you will leave this pump running for. So as you turn this little knob, you can actually control the amount of time. I'm going to go over in a second. So it's a really important thing to just kind of follow that, make sure that everything is nice and strapped against the structure. In this case, you don't want to put a lot of pressure into the valve or something like that. I mean, that's the common mistake that a lot of people do. They just leave these pipes hanging and they create some sort of pressure and stress to the fittings, and then you end up having, some problems like there. So now we are ready, and we're gonna have to do some tests. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just disconnect that part, disconnect the pump, to make sure that when water goes up, this system will activate itself. Now it's on, and you want to make sure that when it works correctly. So now the system is working, and after that, what's going to happen is that you want to hear that the water is going down, and you actually hear that the system start kind of vibrating, and that gives you a notice is as it pulls and pulls the water out, it will get to a point that it kind of starts turning off. So once it's out, keep it running for about 15 seconds in this case. Again, the little knob that is on the bottom, by twisting it, it will give you the amount of time. You want to release it shortly, you want to release it after 15, 20 minutes, 25 minutes. It will let you know that that's going off. So in that case, 15 seconds, turns off, and it's good to go. Just vibrating a little bit, just kind of letting the excess water come down, and it's perfect. So now that we tested the system, we know that we can actually turn on the regular power source. This will emit the sound if you continue going up, and you have a test. You can actually test the system to make sure that you're not going to have that issue and you don't notice. So let's go ahead and install it back again. I suggest you to have a dedicated line for your sump pump in your basement, because if something fails upstairs or in another place, let's say you have outlets in the basement and you connect it to the outlets in the basement, when water comes in, then it's gonna jump your breaker, and that's it. So that would be a problem for you. So you want to make sure that the system works perfectly. It turns on and off by itself, and you have everything clear around your floater that is turns on and off your pump. So after that, now you want to go ahead and put your cap. Now a regular sump pump basin comes with a different lid. This one obviously comes with the heavy duty trash can, and we went ahead and just did some perforations so we can actually cover it really well, so no big elements will come inside. Now that I'm gonna have to make different videos, like 3 more videos explaining the other features, because it's a really important part of the safety of your property, right? So you want to go ahead and make sure that everything is nice and tight, nothing is leaking, that the system is running properly, obviously connected to the cold water. You want to waste your hot water there. If you have, I'm going to leave it in the description box how you can get the base pump. That's a really cool feature to have at home, and obviously will save you a ton of money, thousands of dollars. It comes a little under $200. You have different designs, but it will help you, and you will avoid a lot of issues. So that's it. That's the part of the video that I want you to see, the part of the project that I was really concerned about. Again, after testing it from several rains that we had, we learned that actually all the water comes inside. Make sure that all your areas are nice and safe and clean, so you don't have issues. I hope this video will help you a lot to mitigate those issues.
You made it to the end of the video. I'm really happy about it. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the little notification bell, and see more of those videos that I'm going to put around, and stay tuned for more videos. I'll see you soon.